Hi, this is Jack Davis from Epic Yard Farm. Welcome to our garden. Today we're gonna do some grafting, and we would like to turn this fig tree into a franken tree. So we'll probably have about 10 or more different varieties of fig growing on the same tree. This is actually a graft we've done a couple years ago. This is a raspberry latte fig, and I'll give you a close-up showing you what the graft union look like now. We just received some beautiful fig cuttings from Chesapeake Figs. Thank you to Kevin for also including a couple of extra cuttings. If you're in the market for high quality fig cuttings, I highly recommend checking them out. Now what we want to do is to select cutting that is relatively close to the thickness of this branch that we selected for grafting, and these are pretty close. This is pretty close too. So we're probably gonna do the MV1 here just for fun, because it'll be fun to have panache, have other type of figs, different colors of figs growing on it. So I will be doing the MV1 on this branch. And the tools I'll be using today are my trusty grafting knife, a sharp pruner, buddy tape, and some rubber band strips. And I'll show you what each of these will do for us in the grafting process. First, you want to select where you want to cut off the branch for the main tree, and I like where this is just above this bud, just in case if the graft fails, we can have new growth from here, and then we'll have more branches to graft later. And I like it about here, so let's cut that off. And this will match pretty nicely right here. I'm going to cut the scion off here. I do prefer cleft graft. That seems to be the easiest, had the highest successful rate for me, so I'm going to do the cleft graft. And you basically find the middle and slowly work your way with your sharp grafting knife, slicing through the middle. Hopefully you can see. And then for this, you want to just thin this into a wedge and be able to slide it in there. So very carefully, and you work a little at a time. Slice it towards you. And just work your way into a wedge. Pretty happy with this. So now we just slide it in there. And what you want to do is have it fit in there, but just ever so slightly angled, so you can have the green cambium layer kind of touch in multiple points on both sides. Now the fun part, I like to tie a knot with the rubber band down here, and then twist my way around and work my way up to create and stretch and turn with the rubber band to create that tension to hold the graft tight. Oops. Sometimes you'll let go and it will unspin. It will just kind of start back up. It doesn't take too much force. You just want to create good contact between the scion and the wood from your tree. And I just tie it up. Like this. And then we'll protect the scion on the top to seal out moisture using the body tape. This is self-adhesive, very light adhesive, but it helps to stick to itself so it doesn't come undone easily. But this helps hold moisture in while the wound heals. And I like this perforated kind so I don't have to fight to get them apart. So I like to work from bottom up. This way when the water, when it rains and the water builds up, it actually doesn't stay inside and behind the tape. So you want to cover the graft union really well. That's it. That's our first graft. This is the MV1 graft on our tiger panache fig. And this is what I like to use to label my grafts. This is kind of a metallic, soft metallic tag. And I use a kind of a metal pen with the pinpoint here and write it on here. This is MV1. And we'll tag this. Now we know what this graft is. So when summer comes, probably in the fall, we'll double check everything. Hopefully this takes and the MV1 buds will start to break in the spring. Right now the tree is just starting to go dormant, so it actually still has some sap flow, but it's not too bad, and this is the right time to do it because it will heal pretty quickly. And during dormancy is the best time to do this so that there's not too much flow of the sap. Sometimes it could drown the graft, which we don't want. But right now, it's about the right time. Our fig tree just went into dormancy. There's a tiny bit of sap that started to seep out when you cut, but it's not flooding and gushing out. So this is the perfect time. And we'll do a couple more and show you some close-ups. We'll cut off this side of the scion and then this height of the tree. We want the bud to kind of facing the direction that we want it to grow. And then we'll trim off down here. We're gonna split the tree's branch right in the middle where we'll slide our scion in. You'll see there's very thin green layer along the edges. That's what we want to line up with the green edges on the branch. And the rule of thumb is always try to angle it slightly. That way the cambium, the green cambium layer has some kind of contact with one another between the scion and the tree. I'm going to take off a little more here so they line up a little better. And we're going to put first layer of the buddy tape just to hold it together. Now I like to come back with the rubber band strip to create tension between the two. And they just kind of stretch as you wrap around to create that tension. Again, there's probably a way more elegant way to do this, but my chaos gardening, this is what you get. Well, I'd like to do another layer to hold the rubber band in. And it's okay for the tape to go over any buds, because that's the good thing with the buddy tape. It's stretchy, and when the bud is ready to push, it will push right through the buddy tape. I'm just gonna put a little bit of buddy tape up here. I know this for most people is too much scion left on the branch, but I like to have a little more plant material on my scion. You can technically just do it with a tiny bud, but I like my scion a little lengthy. Final thing to do is to wrap this with aluminum foil to protect it from our UV rays. And that's it. We're almost there. It looks pretty good to me. So now, just work our way in there. Again, like I said before, you want to have just slightly at an angle. That way cambium layer, the green touches the green. At least 2 points on each, one on each side at least. And now, tie a rubber band. There's probably a more elegant way of doing this. I'm just doing what I can. So again, working from bottom up, we'll wrap the scion and the graft union. For this one, I'm just gonna go ahead and stretch it all the way to the end to seal this off. And the final touch I like to do is wrap this up in aluminum foil to keep the sun from blasting on this, especially here in Arizona. Our UV ray could be pretty harsh. So I'm going to grab some aluminum foil and wrap this up. And that's it. Now we wait. Well, now you see me graft 2 varieties of figs onto our tiger panache. We'll catch up with you again in early summer to see how they do, if the grafts take. Just to show you, sorry about the lighting, but you will see this graft. You can barely see it's there. This is the raspberry latte fig. We should be getting some fig from it this year.